for 73 Atlantic Avenue for the keeping of animals / stable permit request. And so I wonder if Elizabeth, you could read the public notice.
Absolutely. The following public hearing notice was holding a public hearing to review an application for permit to keep animals and for a stable permit in accordance with the Town of Cohasset Board of Health rules and regulations governing horses, stables, cloven-hoofed livestock, fowl, and poultry, revised October 2014. The Cohasset Board of Public Health will hold a meeting on Tuesday, May 31st, 2022 at 6:30 virtually via Zoom webinar to review an application for a permit to keep animals and for a stable permit. The application has been submitted by Britta and Tom Sullivan, 73 Atlantic Avenue, Cohasset, Massachusetts. The request for a stable permit will require variances to a setback. The proposed plan for a stable is available to view at the Board of Health page on the town's website. The public is welcome to attend the Zoom hearing using login information below or submit their input in writing to the town health agent prior to the hearing.
Thank you very much. And so I will turn it over to the property owners, the Sullivans. Would you like to make your presentation?
And I can just start off by sharing my screen. I'll start off and just show where the property is that we're talking about, and then I'll show the figure, just so you guys can get a feel. This is 73 Atlantic. It's really close to Whitehead. Let's just back up a little bit. So there's Whitehead out there. This is the 73 Atlantic property. And then the place where they're going to be looking for a variance is right here. That's 89 Whitehead. So I'll just pull back a little bit. Oops, wrong way. And then I'll just switch over to the figure. There we go. Let me pull back out here a little bit. Okay. Take it away. It's all
Thanks,
yours.
Pam.
All right, so yeah, about 1.5 years ago, we decided to have some horses here. And we went to engineer, laid it out. So where you see the stable was where you see the, the fenced in area with the green around it. That was a tennis court with asphalt paving. And so we're about in the same, a little less than what the tennis court was there and the fence that was there. And the Conservation Committee agreed that it would be better to remove the asphalt and have, sandy ground there. And the structure that you see right there, the small one down bottom by the green, is an existing structure that we, put the barn in there. And so basically all that was existing. We did back then have to file for the, with the neighbors, notify the neighbors of the horses and all that, which we did. And they allowed 2 horses for about 4 months on the property.
Oh, 5 months, I think.
5 months. And so that's, and that had to get recorded on our deed and all that, 5 months, 2 horses and so forth. So that's already been done. We had to hire a urine specialist to show that it wasn't going to affect the wetlands. And in the meantime, the house that, whatever number that was subdivided, and there's a new house being built there, but the lot line has stayed the same. And the people that are building a house are, I believe, sent a letter to you saying they didn't have a problem with it. And that's basically it. The fence is done. The grass, we had to put special grass in there that we ordered from Pennsylvania, a mixture of seed, and that's been done. And starting to grow now, so. And some, whatever else they required as far as the Conservation Committee.
Okay, thank you. And we do have a message that was sent to Pam and to the Board of Public Health that we will enter into the minutes, into the record from 73 Atlantic Avenue, the Fairbanks, Ross and Sarah Fairbanks.
Actually, it's 68 Whitehead Road, Michael.
We are 70.
Sorry, you're 73, right?
So 68 Whitehead Road. the
68
Fairbanks,
Whitehead Road, right.
right
We
here.
understand there'll be hearing to discuss the horse fence and property lines. We're ready to confirm our support of the current fence as it stands today. We feel there's adequate distance between the horse fence and our property line. So that will do. Is there another abutting neighbor?
We are as well, but
The greenies,
you have the list of
Right.
people. We sent whatever the certified abutters list, we sent that out, put it in the newspaper and all that.
Right. And
David Greeny,
and the mineral,
Minot International,
100 Whitehead Road.
100 Whitehead Road.
Mhm.
All those were notified with the certified letter.
Okay, great. And I don't see anybody else here. So we've probably received all the comments we're going to receive from your neighbors, which is useful. And so the request is also there are a couple of variances that are being requested here, right? From the one is I'm looking for it right now.
One of them is a setback to wetlands. So based on our animal regulations, like all the whole, every like paddock, every barn, everything's supposed to be within, I mean, at least 100 feet from wetlands. So obviously that doesn't meet it here, but usually the next step is to go to Concom, which they've done.
Okay. And then the other was the setback from a variance of the setback from your neighbors, which was from
Right.
100 to 30, I think is.
No, it's supposed to be 30 and it's only about 20. So it's right here down the
Right.
southern
That's right.
part. Here's the fence right here. And this is about like 20 feet. It's supposed to be like 30.
Got it. Okay, good. Great. Yeah, no, I read I read the documents. I don't have any questions. The Concom is quite attentive to it. Our concerns are usually around the questions of manure management and, the public health aspects of this, obviously. So I don't have any questions. Elizabeth, do you have any questions?
No, I also read through the documents and I have no questions. It seems like there's going to be very minimal exposure from the manure. Will be well contained, and no, at this point, no questions. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Any other further comments, questions from anyone? And then we can move to past the public discussion, and we can Elizabeth and I can deliberate on this and figure out what we're going to do. Anything else you'd like to add?
From us?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe so,
Okay, great.
unless you have any questions for us.
Nope, I'm good.
So then I think you officially close the public hearing.
Right. So the public hearing is now closed. Let's discuss the matter at hand. I have all the information that I need. I believe that this is reasonable and straightforward. I believe the Conservation Commission has, addressed the major questions that I would have in my head about the wetlands and any impact on the environment. And it does seem to me that this would have minimal impact on the neighbors. So I'm inclined to make a motion to accept the variances. Elizabeth, do you have any comments or anything you'd like to add?
No, I support your motion.
All right, great. So then I will then make a motion to approve the variance request for keeping of the animals stable permit to allow reduction from the required 100-foot setback to wetlands. This is conditional in that all the special conditions for the orders of the conditions issued by the Cohasset Conservation Commission on April 13th, 2021 must be strictly followed. Can I get a second for that?
A second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye, aye. Motion
Aye.
carries 2-0. Second motion, I make a motion to approve the variance request to allow a property line setback reduction from 30 feet to 20 feet for the horse paddock to the 68 Whitehead Road property line.
A second.
Great, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 2-0. Enjoy your horses.
All right,
Okay,
thank you very much.
We'll mail you guys the permit.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Good night.
All right,
That was easy.
I love it.
That was easy.
Easier than the last one, that's for sure.
Yeah, we had 2 in a row, Forest Ave and South Main Street. We had all the neighbors up in arms, so this was an easy one.
Yep. So I don't think we can approve the meeting minutes since Robin isn't here and Elizabeth wasn't on the board at that time. So we will postpone the meeting minutes to the next, we'll table that until the next meeting. Let's set our next meeting date. What is our next, do we have anything on the docket coming up?
So Amy, we just got the Mill Road plan. Let's see if that's gonna need a meeting.
Mill Lane, yeah,
Mill
and then
Lane.
also, we got, Dolan Lane. Is it 31 Dolan Lane for Stasco?
Okay.
And then I'm not sure what's going on with Situate Hill, if they will be coming in front of us or not.
No, well, not for a while, because they have to go through planning and all these other things first.
Okay,
All right, so we'll have enough stuff for our meeting. So we should just go like 30 days out or something.
Okay, can I, so I'd like to propose is 3 weeks long enough? Or because the 28th isn't so great for me. Or we
I
can-
think so. Well, we just have to get everybody on the ball to get there are a bunch of notifications out, but we can do 3 weeks.
Okay, so Elizabeth, does the 21st work for you?
It does.
Great, so let's set the Board of Health meeting for the 21st of June at 6:30 p.m. Okay. Super. All right. We do have the public health agent report and the public health nurse report, and that we've been getting over the last, geez, it feels like forever since we've had a meeting. So we'll enter those into the minutes. But Pam, would you like to add anything to the public health report?
Let's see.
Anything
So-
particularly exciting going
Well,
on in
Amy's
Cohasset?
done a really great job like the last few days for me, because like I've got this initiative to we have summer interns that actually work for the DPW, and I'd like to put them to work and do a private well survey in town, because we have a GIS system, and it'll just say like on the GIS system, like a house has a well, but you know, the properties are really big in town and we don't know really where the wells are. So we'd like to survey them because people need them for, you know, setbacks for animal permits, setbacks for septic systems, setbacks for new construction, all this kind of stuff. So, like I said, Amy's put together 200 letters, which is a lot when you see them all stacked up. And we're on the verge of sending them out. We're going to put like a Survey Monkey on the front of the town webpage and ask people to fill that out. Like, I don't know how much of a response we're going to get for that. We'll try to follow up in other ways. We'll try to follow up with social media, pointing people there too. We'll try to hit them from all sides, but the more people we can get to respond, the better. And even if there's somebody that says, well, my well is now abandoned, I don't use it, that's great too. And then we can, you know, whatever we can do to update our GIS system would be really helpful. Unfortunately, there were previous developers that just went out, particularly like in Forest Ave, and they were putting wells everywhere and never recorded anything with us. And So we really have like holes in our records, and it's really up to us to provide all that information to people. So hopefully we'll make some progress this summer.
I would presume when someone buys one of these properties, they want to know where the well is, right? And do they not pull permits to make sure, or to not pull permits, but check the permitting and such?
Well, and that's part of the problem too, is that a lot of it's up to real estate agents to tell people, like, you need to get your water tested before you can sell your house. If it's drinking water, it has to go to a lab and get analyzed for bacteria and nitrates and things like that. Who knows how many people are even doing that? You know, it would help if we had like a really firm list also as well. So if we can see like a septic plan come in, and we just, you know for certain that there's supposed to be a well there as well that's supposed to get tested, and we can handle two at the same time. So, you know, like, your records are only good as what you like walk into. And, like, and when it came to wells, we knew that there was a lot of gaps. I've tried to cross-reference against the water list that the two different water companies we have in town. There's the Cohasset Water Company, and there's also what was Aquarian and is now Ware River. And so if they have these customer lists and the people don't fall on either list, we kind of assume that they have a well. So we've tried to do a lot of whatever we can behind the scenes, but at some point we just need to know, where's your well and are you using it?
Yeah, right. And does the GIS study also take into account those that only use them for irrigation, or?
Yeah, so we're on the Survey Monkey, it's gonna say, is your well potable, irrigation, or both? And so then we'll have an intern, once we get permission from people, we'll have an intern go out, they'll have a handheld GPS, they'll just take a reading with latitude and longitude, bring it back, and then we'll put that in our GIS system, and hopefully we'll make some good progress, we'll see.
Terrific.
Fingers crossed.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Pam.
All right, welcome.
Mary.
So yeah, you see my reports, and Elizabeth, I think you saw your first report last. Pam sends them out on Friday. So as I said, we do them weekly. But the only other things that are have come up this week, we were notified today by the state that we're entitled to get 1,500 test kits for free. So for a while there, people were not interested in test kits, but the demand seems to be picking up. So we're going to get the 1,500. So it's actually 3,000 test kits, because it's 2 per kit. So we'll distribute those at the, the senior center, the library, police, fire, and then DPW, just different places in town so people can have access to those. We have a clinic next Tuesday night from 3 to 5. If anybody wants to get vaccinated, it's a Moderna booster dose clinic. Not great on the, so far we only have 25 people signed up, but that's okay. And the other good news is it looks like our numbers are starting to drop down a little bit. So who knows where we're headed, but I feel optimistic about that. So.
Yes. So the new reporting that's happening now week to week, given that the testing isn't as reliable in terms of people self-reporting and such, is there, have you got any pushback on that, or are people basically just
people
whatever?
Yeah, whatever. They're done with it. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I mean, we're showing the positivity rate and we're showing the community transmission levels. But beyond that, the numbers just they're just not reflective of what's really happening. So they just don't make sense, And
Yeah.
I do get calls from people that test positive, but, they're sporadic, they're here and there. So people are I find they're just living their lives. Perfect example is Friday night, the yacht club had their big opening party, and they had 180 people. And somebody tested positive on Saturday. So, I just sent them the guidance and said, I would encourage everyone that was there, get tested tomorrow. And, but they had all their doors open, fans were going. So But that's kind of where we're at now, we don't have any, no firm guidelines, got to do this, got to do that. So I think it was good that she reached out, and I think that's where we are now. We're more of an advisory, right? We'll contact us. We'll let you know what you should do. So
Yep. Is our wastewater tested? Are we involved in any wastewater testing?
no,
No, they do the MWRA, but they do it in such a manner that they have one test that's representative of the North Shore and one test that's representative of the South Shore. And it's usually pretty good. It's usually slightly out ahead of what actually is about to happen.
But is Cohasset captured in the South Shore or no? Because we don't, like, I'm guessing they get the samples from the wastewater that flows up.
It's the MWRA, so we're not in the MWRA region.
but it does seem like those numbers, the wastewater, if that's up or down, is pretty consistent with our numbers. So I think it's a good indicator.
Interesting.
Hmm.
And we haven't heard much from the schools either.
No, not too much. Kelly wanted to know, she hasn't been sending the weekly numbers, so she wanted to know if you still wanted those, but I think we have 3 weeks of school left, maybe 3 or 4, something like that.
I mean, if they're self-reported numbers,
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where we're at.
Well, there we go.
There we go. Who knows what the summer is going to look like? I hope it's just so hard to know.
Yeah, I know. What's the, and so it's still 50 and over for the second booster, right?
It's 50 and older, but it's also 12 and older if you're compromised, immunocompromised.
Yeah.
And, the CDC and DPH say if somebody comes in and says, I'm immunocompromised, that's good enough. Give it to them.
Got it.
And if you come to our clinic, we don't even ask you. You can just, if you want a shot, we'll give it to you.
You having trouble getting rid of shots, are you?
Well, we've actually done really, really well. I mean, I ordered 100 doses for this upcoming clinic but we haven't wasted a whole lot. So that's good.
Yeah, the
That's
last
helpful.
one was completely filled up and there were people complaining because they couldn't get one. That's why we're doing this second one afterwards.
The last clinic was a workout. It was like people showed up and it was probably the most chaotic clinic we've had, and the testiest. People were like, my 95-year-old mother said I could just come down here and get a shot. Well, no, I don't think that's right. And some guy came in and he said, I'm not going to put a mask on. We said, well, you have to put a mask on. And then he was in the line. I said, if you don't have an appointment, you have to go to the back of the line. We will get to you, but everybody else has an appointment. I can't just jump you in front of them. He says, what if I don't move out of the line? I was like, oh God. I said, stay in the line, but when you come in to get vaccinated, we're not going to vaccine you. So, just like foolishness.
That's bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah, on a Saturday afternoon, Pam, are like,
I know.
we don't need this.
No.
But-
And what about the 5 to 11 age group? Are they eligible for boosters now?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay.
Mm-mm. And I believe CDC and FDA are going to approve the 6 to 5-year-olds, 6 months to 5-year-olds, probably this month. So I just got an advisory from DPH. Actually, it was to the pediatric practices saying, you are the ones that really should be administering these to this particular age group. So we'll see what happens.
Thank you.
And it's still only Pfizer at this point for little kids.
Right.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay.
And one other thing I should mention is that our grant is not doing great right now. Hull dropped out. You need 3 towns at a minimum. And so I reached out to Norwell on Friday to see if they'd be interested in joining us. And there was like silence today. I heard nothing from them. I reached out to their town manager. I reached out to their health agent. Christine, you called their town manager on Friday to tell him about this grant. And so I don't know, I hope they're debating it at least. But
Why are people not interested in this?
well, Hull, I can't even explain it to you. I mean, the whole health director just said it's too much work, but she hasn't really done much work. It's like, other than interviewing a couple of people for the epidemiology positions, and we're having meetings once a week on a Thursday afternoon for an hour. I mean, that's about it. That's the commitment. So I don't really understand it. She just keeps saying, I don't see any benefit for us.
As somebody who writes grant proposals is like part of my job, I have a fundamental aversion to giving money back. Like, I just think that's just such a colossal, disappointing waste.
It's a lot of money too. It's not like it's $30,000. It's $300,000 a year. It's crazy. So I did my best to convince Norwell. We'll see what happens.
They don't seem to be jumping up and down though.
No, they don't.
So
Oh.
but they have a board of public health, right? So is it worth, could we write to them and encourage them as the board? Is there something we could do to add a little bit of upward pressure to people who are making this decision?
I think town manager might be the way to go, because
Mhm.
ultimately they're the ones that it would reflect well on them to have this grant coming into their town. So I don't know. Tell you what, I'd like the offer. We'll see. I'll talk to Christine about it.
Okay,
Can't hurt.
we're happy to go canvassing, or at least I can speak for
Yeah,
myself
it's
anyway.
kind of a tough situation because it kind of, you want the actual department to come forward, you know what I mean? I don't want them to join us because they've been pressured. And I feel like that's what happened with Situate, and he, we really leaned on him, and right from the beginning, he was like, I don't want to be here. So
Yeah, and in Hull, I kind of get the same vibe. So you really want somebody that wants to be in on this thing, not that they've had their arm twisted.
Right,
Yeah.
no, sure, that's true.
And it's a lot of money that the state is rolling out, but with the state's vision of how it should be used versus there's locals, like how we could use it. And we're coming from two different places, It's, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay,
So to be continued.
great. Awesome. All right, thank you. Under the chairperson's report, I'm going to sidetrack us. And Elizabeth, could you tell us a little about yourself? What made you run for office, and what do you do, and what's your background, and why the Board of Health?
Certainly. So I guess originally I had applied, this was years ago, I applied for the health agent job just because I was, commuting and had young kids, and it was just a lot at that time for my what I was doing. At the time I was working for the Coast Guard in environmental health and safety. So it was like their public health. So I supervised like their public health program, their environmental compliance program, and their occupational safety program. And while I wasn't a great candidate or great fit for the health agent job here in Cohasset, which totally makes complete sense to me now, and at the time, actually, they reached out to me when someone stepped down because of health issues. So the Board of Health reached out to me and said, we saw your application. We're wondering if you'd be willing to, I think it was an appointment. So I went in front of the Selectmen Committee, and they voted between myself and another person to fill the seat. And after that, I ran for the election unopposed. So that was my previous Board of Health experience. And now today I work for the Coast Guard still, but I cover the whole Northeast district. So New York up through Maine, Vermont, for all the Coast Guard stations, but purely in environmental remediation, compliance support, more or less. If the little Coast Guard stations get an EPA inspection, I go and help them or whatnot. And I audit their compliance programs. But mostly environmental site assessments, remediation type work. PFAS is a lot of PFAS remediation. So,
are you an analytical chemist?
No, I'm not. I'm an earth scientist, basically.
All right, there you go.
So,
great, welcome aboard.
Well, thank you. I'm very happy to be here. And Lynn reached out to me. She seemed like she was ready for a change. So
yeah,
here I am.
Well, welcome. We're glad you're here. So yeah, so I've been on the board now. This is I just finished the first year of my second term. I'm a chemist. I'm a infectious disease. I do infectious disease research at Northeastern. I'm actually located primarily in Portland, Maine during the week. which is why Zoom has worked out perfectly. And yeah, and so I decided that I wanted to join to do something with the town that actually was not that political. And although last year it didn't seem quite that way. And then, yeah, and so this was the fit. So anyway, that's my story. And, Robin's been on the board for how many terms now, Pam? Do you know?
I think it's like 20 years, 20 something years, I think. So Elizabeth served with him.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Michael, did you say that you just completed your first year of your second term?
Correct.
Oh, so you're on for 2 more years.
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. I thought, well, we were talking about that, and I think I was under the impression this is your last year.
Nope. Robin's up. This is Robin's last year.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
yeah, we had 2 of you mixed up.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we
Awesome.
We got you for 2 more years.
And thanks for taking this on again, Elizabeth. Do you go by
Thank you.
Do you
I've
go by
heard wonderful
Elizabeth?
things about you. I do. Just,
Okay, good.
but, or E's another easier alternative.
Interesting. Right, cool.
My mother's Liz, so it just complicates things too much to go by Liz. But likewise, I just want to give back to the community as much as I can, which is not a ton right now in this point of my life, but I'm happy to be here, and I've heard wonderful things about you, and of course, Pam and Mary are wonderful, and Robin, so happy to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. Any other business we want to cover? Otherwise, Elizabeth.
Wait,
Yep.
one more thing though. So Michael, did you want to change the agenda? Did you mention that to Amy? You wanted to change it a little bit?
Yeah. So basically, what I was thinking about was, I see the school committee agenda that comes out. It's really highly detailed and has there's some verbiage on it that seems really sort of consistent with. Maybe they have different rules for the Board of Health for the school committee. What I wanted to do is think about, like, for example, we've never, as long as I've been on the board, have a chairperson's report. It's just on there. I think it's by tradition. I don't know that we have to. I want to just sort of think about what we want to accomplish at these meetings and what we're required to accomplish at these meetings. And then, make the agenda reflect reality. That's all.
Yeah. So is it enough that Amy just sends it to you like a day before or something, just to?
Let's say if we could do it like a few days before, simply because then we could iterate it, and Elizabeth and I and Robin could say, okay, well, these are the things that we actually, here are the things we have to do, like this septic and that well and this and the other. But what other topics do we want to discuss so that we have a chance to put it on the agenda so we can talk about it? I'm thinking back to the time when, we had that situation last year where we talked about the public health order for the masking, and we kind of decided we were just going to throw it on there. We didn't really deliberate that much about it going on the agenda, and no one showed up for the meeting, and then everyone was surprised that we talked about it.
Right.
So what I want to do is to try to put stuff of more substance on the agenda so that the public can see besides what we're talking about, besides septic tanks.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Which are exciting, don't get me wrong, but.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
So Amy, if you could give me a few days before we need to post it, then I'll circulate it and add or remove or just give the thumbs up.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks, Amy.
You're welcome.
So Elizabeth, would you like to make a motion to adjourn?
Okay, certainly. I make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
I will second that motion.
31st.
All in favor? Aye.
Bye.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned. Thanks very much.
Thank you
Have a
very
good
much.
night.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.